Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Hey there, good morning. It is Tuesday. It is June 16th. Glad you are with us. Steph with us this morning. An interesting petition out of the state of Tennessee today.
That's right. Everybody loves Dolly Parton, but a petition here calls for statues of Dolly Parton to replace Confederate leaders in Tennessee.
That's right. A man named, let's see, where is it? Alex Parsons has suggested that they replace leaders from the Confederacy, those statues, with Dolly Parton. He said, you know what, it's not just her music that's made the 74-year-old country star an important figure in our state.
That's right. He says from the Dollywood Foundation that has provided books and scholarships to millions of American children, to the millions of dollars she has donated to dozens of organizations such as the Red Cross and COVID-19 research centers, Dolly Parton has given more to this country and this state than those Confederate officers could ever have hoped to take away.
With the goal of 10,000 signatures, as of last night, the movement had already found support of about 9,000. And per the website, this petition was filed to the Tennessee State House and Senate, as well as sent to Tennessee Governor Bill Lee.
That's right. Alex Parsons calling her a Tennessee hero.
A treasure from the state of Tennessee. Let's take a look at your rundown.
Overnight violence erupting in at least two major cities. In Richmond, Virginia, officers fired what appeared to be tear gas and rubber bullets at a crowd demanding the defunding of police.
President Trump expected to sign an executive order focused on police reforms later today. That order will include incentivizing police agencies across the country to adopt best practices on use of force.
Police in New York are investigating the poisoning of 3 officers. The officers said they got sick after drinking milkshakes from a Shake Shack restaurant. They were all taken to the hospital in stable condition.
The FBI is looking into the hanging deaths of 2 black men in Southern California. In the first case, Robert Fuller's body was found early on the morning of June 10th. Officials initially considered the case a suicide. In the second hanging case, Marvin Harsh was found May 31st in Victorville, about 60 miles away. His case was also initially ruled a suicide.
18 states are seeing a rise in week-to-week new cases, according to Johns Hopkins University. And an updated model from the University of Washington projects more than 201,000 COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. by October.
For the first time in 3 months, people are being called for jury duty.
If there's any kind of an issue that relates to postponements, that relates to exemptions or qualification issues, that they can contact the court and set up a meeting with the judge through Zoom.
President Trump is looking to prevent a new book by former National Security Advisor John Bolton from being sold, claiming it's full of classified information.
Athletes at the University of Texas demanding the school stop playing the Eyes of Texas before and after games. Players said the song's past is prompting the demands because it was used in racist plays in the late 1800s.
Ford resurrects an infamous SUV.
The company is bringing back the Bronco after 24 years, and the date of the big reveal is July 9th, which is also O.J. Simpson's birthday.
Finally, have you heard the one about the coyote and the bear?
They put on a show at this golf course in Canada. To the amazement of everyone, the bear was chasing the coyote around the trees.
This went on for about 5 whole minutes. The bear finally gave up.
Reminds me of a meme I saw about a month ago. It says, as if 2020 wasn't weird enough, and it was a picture of a coyote with a roadrunner in its mouth, which goes back to all the old Looney Tunes cartoons that the fact that the roadrunner would ever be caught just seemed improbable, right?
Yeah, well, this guy gave up eventually as well.
Yeah, he did.
In real life, yes.
9:01, let's check in now with meteorologist Sarah Spivey. She was just updating us on some pop-up showers that are out there on radar.
Yeah, some early morning showers, especially for those west of San Antonio early this morning. We'll go ahead and zoom into those, mainly out near the Medina Lake area and just west of that up toward Bandera. You can see some showers there. These are just your run-of-the-mill pop-up ordinary showers. Even in parts of northwestern Bexar County, you can see right there. Let's go ahead and zoom in as close as we can. Just to the southwest of Gray Forest there, right on the Medina and Bexar County Lake, a quick little pop-up shower. We could also be seeing a few sprinkles around some areas, like near Chavano Park and Hollywood Park early this morning. Now, these isolated showers, they're going to be with us throughout the day, but for the vast majority of us, it'll stay dry and we won't see much rain, and we need the rain. The aquifer is down about a foot over the past 24 hours. In the pollen count, though, it is good news. Mold is low at 250 and pigweed is low at 20. I'll be back with the rest of your week forecast coming up. Mark, Stephanie?
Thank you, ma'am. Taking a look right now, 90 at Medio Creek. Traffic looks light, even up on those huge flyover ramps. Also there just down the road at Highway 90 near Lackland Air Force Base.
Top stories we're following today. We're still waiting to learn the name of the man killed after police say he was shot while driving.
Happened just after midnight on Loop 1604 near Bulverde Road. Police telling us a man and woman traveling west on the highway when a vehicle pulled up next to them and fired a single shot. The bullet hit the driver in the head, causing him to crash into the vehicle of an off-duty San Antonio police officer.
The man was pronounced dead at the scene and the woman was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Police say that off-duty officer was able to get away from his vehicle just before the crash and was not hurt. Right now, police are still looking for the suspect.
Investigators with the United States Army have increased the reward for information about a missing soldier from Fort Hood last seen in the month of April.
Authorities say they will give out a $25,000 reward for information that leads to the whereabouts of Private First Class Vanessa Guillen. The 20-year-old was last seen on April 22nd in a parking lot at Fort Hood. Investigators say her car keys, room key, ID card, and wallet were later found in the armory room where she'd been working earlier in the day.
According to the Army, more than 150 people have been interviewed so far regarding Guillen's disappearance.
The San Antonio Public Library is resuming partial services today. The reopening includes contact-free pickup services at all public libraries. People will be able to pick up reserved books and other materials. Book drops will also be functional once again.
The 9 locations you see on your screen right now will also offer limited computer use. Computer access will be by appointment only and will begin at 3 p.m. People will be limited to 1 hour each, and the stations will be disinfected after each use. You can find more information about all of these services on our website at KSAT.com.
Governor Greg Abbott is expected to hold a press conference this afternoon to give an update on the state's hospital capacity.
Comes as health officials report an upward trend in COVID-19 cases here in Texas. State officials reported more than 1,200 new cases just yesterday. More than 2,300 patients are currently hospitalized. Governor Abbott previously said the hospitalization rate will be a key factor in determining the state's efforts to reopen the economy.
The governor is expected to speak around 1 p.m. You can watch the press conference live right here on KSAT 12 and online at KSAT.com.
Right now it's 9:05. The San Antonio Black Lawyers Association has been part of the Alamo City's legal community for more than 30 years.
Their mission is to offer people diversity when seeking legal representation. Our Max Massey joins us live outside the Bexar County Courthouse. Max.
Good morning, guys. We are joined here by Judge Stephanie Boyd. So, Judge, why did you guys get started? When and how?
Well, the San Antonio Black Lawyers Association has been around for a long time. It started because we needed camaraderie. We're a small population racially here in Bexar County, and also because historically African American attorneys were not accepted in other organizations, so that's what started the San Antonio Black Lawyers Association.
What's your mission for the community?
We're trying to educate the community. We do a lot of candidates forums, judicial forums, so people can know who's running for office. We've done mayor's forums, and also it's to educate other attorneys.
Now, you guys have been doing a lot of stuff. You have pro bono work, and you also have been hosting webinars in this COVID world. What should people know about that?
Well, our next one is June 19th. It's Juneteenth, and I'll tell you more about Juneteenth, but it's from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. It's free to attorneys, and the reason why we did it is because everyone has been financially struggling, and that includes your solo practitioner attorneys, and all attorneys need continuing legal education courses. And so we wanted to give back, because our theme for this year is a year of giving, and part of giving back is giving free education to our attorneys. And we've had great turnouts on our webinars, great speakers. So for all you attorneys out there, if you'll go to sabla.org, you can see when our next presentation will be, and you can follow the link and join us.
And last question, we are clearly in a moment of history. So what is your message to your colleagues and the members of our community as we go through this?
All right. And when you speak of history, I'm assuming you're speaking of the protests. For my colleagues who are out there, I've had plenty of people come to me and say, Stephanie, I didn't know. What should I do? I'm so sorry. And the key is to know history. On Facebook, someone said that they had never heard of Black Wall Street. They had never heard of the Tulsa riots. And so my comment to them was, in high school, my history teacher threw out the history book and said, we're going to learn all history. And so I talked to them, learn about the Tulsa riots, also learn about Rosewood, also look into Central Park in New York, because Central Park in New York, you will be astounded by the history. So I want everybody to learn history. If you learn history, you'll understand, I think, the protests and maybe why some people are angry about what has been happening. But San Antonio is a great city. I just remind everyone, please be kind to each other, respect each other's opinions. If you're going to protest, protest peacefully.
All right, Judge, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And if you guys are more interested in anything that the judge was talking about, we have all that information. We're going to have it on KSAT.com. Mark, Stephanie?
All right. Thank you, Max. Live at the Bexar County Courthouse. Thanks.
Thank you, Max. Just about 9:09, 79 degrees still ahead on GMSA at 9.
A lot of people are doing what they can to help those who have been affected by the coronavirus pandemic. But if you're thinking about donating money, there are a couple things you should know first. Our Ivan Herrera explains in this week's Money, It's Personal.
When you get into a car accident, you probably don't expect to have to pay for cleanup. That's happening to drivers in small cities around San Antonio. Tim Gerber joins us to break down a defender's investigation later in this newscast.
Snakes, already terrifying enough, but this 17-foot python is taking things to a whole nother level. Our Eric Hernandez has details on where and how it was caught.
As we go to break, let's check the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It is up a whopping 761 points at 26,531. A good day on the street so far.
And welcome back. It's 9:13. Checking your morning headlines. New trouble between North and South Korea and more controversy surrounding the arrest of a man, this time in Florida.
Good Samaritans rushed to save a woman's life, and a snake so big it will give you chills. Erica Hernandez is here with some morning headlines. Good morning.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, we start first with tensions escalating between North Korea and South Korea after North Korea blew up and destroyed an inter-Korean liaison office in its border city of Kaesong. This is video of that explosion. North Korea state media reported that the 4-story building, which is located on the North Korean side of the demilitarized zone that divides the Koreas, was completely destroyed by a, quote, terrific explosion. South Korea said there was no staff inside as the building had been closed due to the COVID-19. The destruction of this building may mark a turning point in relations between the two countries that have committed themselves to a new era of peace less than 3 years ago. North Korea said they destroyed the building as a retaliatory measure after a group of defectors used balloons to send anti-North Korean leaflets north of the demilitarized zone, which they say violated their deal. Now to Florida, where a violent confrontation between an off-duty police officer and 44-year-old man was all caught on cell phone video. As you see here, Yoel Rodriguez is being charged with battery on a law enforcement officer after the confrontation at a Walmart. But a witness says it was the off-duty officer who threw the first punches.
And I don't know exactly what the cop said, but I mean, I think he was telling him he had to leave, like he wasn't going to get to pay for his stuff. And he's like, no, I just need to pay. I just need to pay. And then the cop kept trying to grab his arm, and he was like, hey, don't touch me. Like, what are you doing? Why are you touching me? Don't touch me. And the cop just wailed back and just popped that dude right in the nose.
Now, a family member of Rodriguez said that neither him or his wife spoke English and they didn't understand the officer. The Jacksonville Fraternal Order of Police issued a statement that reads in part, it is abundantly clear that the defendant in this case not only hit the officer's arm, but he was actively pulling away and resisting the officer. We are thankful that the officer was able to overcome the resistance and prevent severe injury to the defendant, injury to himself, or injury to innocent bystanders. Now to California, 3 men being hailed heroes after they sprang into action to save a woman whose car ended up in a canal. Fred Shia, Jorge Mendoza, and Daniel Miranda all pulled over when they saw the car end up in the canal. Mendoza and Miranda had to go underwater to break the window and get the woman out. Shia would then have to give her CPR until emergency personnel arrived. Police say the 3 men would end up saving this woman's life.
Had it been 5 more minutes and nobody went in to get her, it could have been a much different outcome. And the right people were there to take action.
The 3 men are hoping to meet the woman they saved in person soon. Now, if you're terrified of snakes, yeah, this will creep you out. A wildlife trapper known as the Python Cowboy recently caught a 17-foot python in the Florida Everglades. Look at this photo. I mean, it's crazy. Mike Kimmel said after a brief wrestle and a nasty bite, he even got bit by the snake. He was able to grab the snake's head, drag it back to his boat, and euthanize it. He is waiting to hear back from state authorities on the snake's official measurements, but he said that he measured it being about 17 feet long and at least 130 pounds. Kimmel will receive a payment from Florida Python Action Team, which pays people to remove the invasive species. Kimmel says he plans on selling the snake's skin on his website. No, thank you. That's something I'm not looking like. I don't. Why
No.
People buy snake skin?
Did I hear that right? So there's a Tiger King now, and there's a Python Cowboy?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a whole nother documentary.
It really does.
That may be on Netflix soon.
And who knew there was a Python Action Team?
Oh yeah, you didn't heard about that in Florida? That's what they do to they hire people to go out and hunt pythons, so because they're invasive species and they've just completely overcome the Everglades.
It's Florida. It sounds like they need it. Right.
Thank
you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica.
Let's talk weather now. And earlier we were checking in with Sarah Spivey. She was talking about some folks may get a little break today and may not need to run the sprinklers on those yards, desperately needing some water.
We'll call them some free car washes too. How does that sound?
Yeah.
There are a couple of isolated showers out there, especially west of San Antonio proper and into our counties out west of Bexar County. So Medina County, Bandera County right now enjoying some rain. These are just very light to moderate rain showers that are very short-lived and quickly moving to the north. You can see Medina Lake getting a little bit in on the action there, in the western part of Bexar County getting some good splash and dash showers right on the Medina and Bexar County line, just south of Gray Forest and right along 1604 there on the west side as well. There are some isolated very light showers too near Kirby and China Grove and Calaveras Lake at the moment, but that's about it unfortunately for us. We're really only going to see about a 10 to 20% chance for isolated rain today, and we could really use the rain. You know, last night we did have a couple of showers that moved through Bexar County in the afternoon hours. In fact, Adkins got about 2/10 of an inch of rain, but nothing officially at the airport, and so still for this month so far we've only seen a little bit less than 1/10 of an inch of rain. That is more than 2 inches of rain below what we normally see for this month, and unfortunately it's resulted in a deficit of about 1 inch of rain for the year so far. Even though May had a very healthy rainfall, we just haven't seen much in June. June is one of the rainiest months of the year for us in San Antonio. Outside right now you can see those puffy cumulus clouds, you can see the haze on the horizon. That is because of the humidity. We're currently near 80 degrees with a humidity of about 80% as well. 75 at Bernie Stage Airfield, 78 in Bandera, 77 in Hondo, 77 in Canyon Lake, and 80 in New Braunfels. A wider view here, 80 in Gonzales and 80 in Del Rio. So we are on our way to a toasty day. But again, we could see a few pop-up isolated showers here and there throughout the day. In San Antonio, it's only about 10 to 20%, but still, it's a chance for some rain. Other than that, it's going to be humid. Dew points are in the 70s. This is a summertime dew point where you can feel it out there. It's noticeably muggy. And in the futurecast, the best chance for rain today is generally going to be west of I-10 and west of 37 there. So from a Kerrville to Pleasanton line, that's where we'll see the best chance for rain, but the best chance is really only 30%. So it's not looking great for widespread rainfall by any means, but we could see a stray shower around San Antonio today, and that's why we've got a 10% chance for rain. Around noon, we'll be at 86, 93 in the afternoon for the high, feeling a little bit warmer because of the humidity. Southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour, and over the next 7 days, just nuisancey, isolated showers. Okay, we're not going to see widespread good ground-soaking rain, and we really need it. As we head into the weekend, we'll see our rain chances tick up. Isolated rain, 20% to 30% by Monday. Now, there is a little bit of hope for early next week for some healthy rainfall for us. One of our forecasting models is showing that we could see some rain, but the other forecasting models are showing nothing. So it's a wait-and-see thing. For now, enjoy the heat and humidity. Right, Steph?
We'll do that. Thanks, Sarah.
9:21, 79 degrees.
And still ahead on GMSA at 9, the Federal Trade Commission offering some tips for donating safely amid the pandemic. Our Ivan Herrera breaks down what you need to know in this week's Money. It's personal.
There is no doubt that right now a lot of people who've been helping, are helping those who've been affected drastically by the coronavirus pandemic.
But before you make a donation to a local or national organization, there are some things to take into consideration to ensure your money is going to the right place. Our Ivan Herrera has some tips for donating during difficult times in this week's Money. It's personal.
If you're in a position to help those affected by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic with some money, you want to make sure your donation is actually going to help those in need. So, the Federal Trade Commission is offering some tips for giving during difficult times. First, do some good research to find the right organization. You can ask friends or family for recommendations, or visit your preferred search engine and type in the name of a charity with the words scam, review, or complaint. Charities will not ask you to donate via money transfer or by using Bitcoin or a gift card. So, be wary of any organizations that want you to donate with these forms of payment. And you should also be cautious of crowdfunding campaigns. Scammers may put up their own crowdfunding pages after a tragedy. So, it can be difficult to tell the difference from the real deal. Make sure you do some good research and verify that your funds will go to the cause that you want to support. No one likes to be pressured. So, if an organization is rushing you, slow down. Remember, it's your money, so you make the decision on when and who to give it to. Use your research to determine the right cause and give it your pace. To look up charities and organization ratings, visit ftc.gov/charity. Ivan Herrera, KSAT 12 News.
If you have money-related questions that you'd like Ivan to answer, you can email him at iherrera@ksat.com.
And there's a lot more ahead on GMSA at 9. A 90-year-old Scottish woman is raising money for healthcare workers by climbing her stairs over and over again. How her perseverance caught the attention of Prince Charles.
Hundreds of strangers wishing a Michigan man a happy birthday this weekend, all thanks to a prank by one of his friends. How these hilarious pranks have become a yearly tradition.
And some smaller cities around San Antonio are charging drivers for cleaning up the scene of an accident. So why is this happening, and do you have to pay that bill? Tim Gerber is here after the break to debrief this latest Defenders investigation. And welcome back. It's 9:30. If you get into a serious car crash, you probably expect the police and fire departments to respond. What you probably do not expect is to get a bill for that response.
But that's exactly what some smaller cities in our area are doing, charging drivers to clean up the accident scene. KSAT 12 Defender Tim Gerber recently investigated the practice, and here's a clip from his story.
I received a letter from Fire Recovery USA saying that I owe the City of Leon Valley $608 for firefighter assistance at the site of the crash.
And when you read that letter, what was your reaction?
I thought it was a scam.
And Tim joined us in studio now for an actual debrief as my chair takes a turn to port here.
You're on a carousel over there.
I'm trying to say to starboard, but it keeps going to port.
Yeah, she Ana Gutierrez, who was featured in the story, she's the one that got this bill 16 months after she had an accident in Leon Valley. She was traveling through there on Bandera Road at a stoplight, not at fault, and already got a new car, moved on with her life, and she gets this bill for $608. And thought it was a scam, put it out there on Nextdoor. I did some research and talked to the City of Leon Valley. I said, no, this is not a scam at all. This is a bill collector who she got the bill for. And it was because the city of Leon Valley had to send firefighters out there to clean up fluids that spilled from her vehicle, and that's what the bill was for. So a very legitimate bill.
Well, why are they charging the fees, though?
Well, you know, as city budgets, especially these smaller municipalities, get tighter budgets, they're looking for ways to create revenue, and this is a way to do it. They say it's not to, you know, make a boatload of money. It's basically to recover costs for their citizens, their taxpayers. Think about Leon Valley. You've got Bandera Road going through there. Many of the people that are traveling through Leon Valley don't live there. So when the fire department responds, they're expending resources and time. And they also have to use, you know, if it's chemicals that spill, they have to use a lot of expensive things to clean that up for the Edwards Aquifer recharge zone. So it adds up pretty quickly. So they're basically trying to make their taxpayers whole and recover the costs.
Tim, how do they decide who gets the bill?
Well, in Leon Valley, if your vehicle leaks fluids, you're going to get the bill, whether you're at fault or not. Ana Gutierrez fought this because she was not at fault, and her insurance company, which many of them do not pay this because it's not part of the coverage. Some do, some don't. Hers did not because she wasn't at fault. She had to fight it for several months. And eventually, when she produced the police report to the company, Fire Recovery USA, they relented and said, okay, we'll stop our collection practices on you because you weren't at fault. But that's a big problem, is collecting on these. The city of Leon Valley has, for the last 12 months, only collected $16,800 in fines. They billed much more, but collecting is a problem for these cities that are doing it, except for New Braunfels. They've been pretty successful in doing it in 5 years, and they say they have about an 80% recovery rate on these fees, and they make anywhere from $150,000 to $250,000 a year off it. So it can add to your coffers.
Oh,
and they put theirs in New Braunfels into a special fund to buy ambulances and fire trucks, which also helps out the taxpayers.
We're gonna oh yeah, I was going to say cities that this helps cover their costs, especially when they're responding to accidents involving people that don't live in the city.
Yes.
But you talked to some critics that call this a hidden tax.
Yeah, the insurance industry, not surprisingly, hates this because it leads to higher rates for insurance, people that pay insurance, and they call it a hidden fee because you expect that the fire department and police department are going to respond, and that's just covered by the taxpayer. Well, not so much. And if you get stuck with one of these bills and you don't pay it, the collectors are going to continue to come after you. So you definitely should pay it if you get it. But the fire departments we talked to, New Braunfels and Leon Valley, said, hey, if you get one of these, please call us. Let's have a conversation. Maybe we can make some sort of payment options, or you can prove to us that you weren't at fault and you don't have to pay it.
Tim, I want to consolidate these final two questions.
Sure.
Do you have to pay it? And what do you do if you get one of these?
If you get one, like I said, talk to the fire department, especially these smaller cities. If you call up, you're going to talk directly to the chief. They said, we'll talk to anybody that calls. It's not like calling the city of San Antonio where you might have to go through several people to get to the chief or who's super busy. But these smaller guys, they said, we'll definitely talk to you and work something out. And you should pay it because they'll send bill collectors after you. But since it's a civil fine, it's kind of like the red light cameras. If you don't pay it, they can't really do anything other than send it to a bill collector. And it appears that a lot of people are not paying it. I mean, if you look at Converse, they're one of the other cities around here that does it. They billed $51,000, almost $52,000 in 12 months, and they only had a collection of about $10,387. So people are not paying it. So,
but in New Braunfels?
In New Braunfels, they've been very successful, and they've got a lot of tourists that come through, and they've got I-35 there, so they're using a lot of their resources for people that don't live there.
All right, Tim, thanks for coming in today. More with our defenders on our website at KSAT.com. Let's go outside with live cam on your Tuesday morning. And all morning long, our TV meteorologist has been tracking a stray shower or two, and looks like they're actually getting a little bit more active out there right now, Sarah.
Well, especially for people west of I-10 and I-37, and we're not seeing any kind of severe weather or anything. In fact, no lightning even with these pop-up showers that have developed. The aquifer is down a foot over the past 24 hours, and pollen count looking good. Mold is low at 250 and pigweed is low at 20, but I do want to talk about those showers that are out there right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at the live radar. We are looking at some showers generally west of, again, like I said, I-10 here and I-37 down in the southern portion of Bexar County. We've got some pop-up showers over near Medina in northern Medina County, right around Medina Lake near the Lake Hills area. Generally the higher elevations, once you get up into the hill country, that's where we're seeing some of these pop-up showers. Let's go a little closer into Bexar County right now. You can see that the rim area is probably getting just a quick isolated shower and generally west of 1604 there, west of Leon Valley. And along Highway 90, you can see that there are a few showers that are approaching near China Grove and up just to the west of Windcrest. So these are free car washes, that's what we're calling them. These will generally taper off as we head into the afternoon, but we're still going to carry a small chance for an isolated shower today. You'll be lucky if you get one because, again, just going to be hot otherwise. I've got to look at afternoon temperatures and how toasty we'll be coming up in a few minutes. Mark, Steph.
Thanks, Sarah. Quick check of TransGuide. Yeah, we've got construction out there, 10 and Ralph Fair, but it doesn't look like it's causing any problems at this particular moment. That could change within about 10 seconds. And that was 10 at Bernie Stage and 151 at eastbound Loop 410.
All right, check this out. Prince Charles is cheering on the 90-year-old Scottish woman who's climbing stairs to raise money for the National Health Service and a local hospital. Margaret Payne is using the stairs in her home, but is climbing almost 2,400 feet. That's the same height as the Sullivan Mountain near her home. Payne was inspired by Captain Tom Moore, who raised money by walking laps in his garden. She has raised nearly $500,000 in the last 2 months, and isn't she cute?
Way to go. Not so close encounters. We are not alone. You may have heard a little bit about this on the early edition of GMSA.
That's right. There's a study that says there could be dozens of intelligent civilizations in our galaxy.
Dozens. So here's what they did. They did the math. A new study published just yesterday aims to answer those age-old questions. Are we alone? The research calculates there could be over 30 intelligent civilizations throughout our own Milky Way galaxy.
So here's a quote. There should be at least a few dozen active civilizations in our galaxy under the assumption that it takes 5 billion years for intelligent life to form on other planets as on Earth. That's University of Nottingham's astrophysicist Christopher Consolence, who co-authored the research.
This estimate assumes that intelligent life forms on other planets in a similar way as Earth does. As a point of reference, there are an estimated 250 billion stars in our galaxy, billions and billions, and roughly 1 planet per star in our galaxy on average.
And these civilizations, however, would be some 17,000 light years away on average, making finding and speaking with them practically impossible with our current level of technology. A light year is roughly 6 trillion miles.
And the researcher ended by saying, by searching for extraterrestrial intelligent life, even if we find nothing, we are discovering our own future and our own fate.
Very far neighbors.
Just about 9:40, 79 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
A pair of friends in Michigan have a unique tradition to celebrate each other's birthdays. They pull elaborate pranks. You're not going to want to miss what they came up with this year. That's coming up next.
So a guy in Michigan that's not Mike Osterhage celebrated his birthday this past weekend with texts and phone calls from hundreds of people. The thing is, he doesn't know most of them.
But they know who he is, thanks to his friends. As Aaron Parsegian with WXMI in Grand Rapids found out, this is the second year in a row they pulled a birthday prank on their pal.
You may recall this time last year when these billboards were proudly displayed on roads near Muskegon. The signs had silly photos and the cell phone number of Greg Johnson, a prank his friends pulled on him to celebrate his birthday.
Well, I've got a few ideas. I got a folder on my computer just dedicated to Greg and his pranks and stuff.
Fast forward to June 13th this year. Another year older, another year wiser.
I knew something was coming, 100%, but I was not expecting this because he got me a couple days early.
Greg, the owner of a fairly new car, was surprised to get a call from his dealership last week.
I got a call from my dealership saying that I had a recall on a part for the car, so I went and dropped it off. Didn't think anything of it. They gave me a loaner car, everything, and got a call the next day saying it was ready to be picked up. And when I got there, this was parked out front. They wrapped it.
His friends struck again. When Greg picked up his car, this is what it looked like. The hood, the rear window, and both sides covered in pictures. And of course, his cell phone number.
We got my face in the Brady Bunch form, my phone number, my childhood picture, It's all over. I actually forget that I have it on there while I'm driving until I look over and see people laughing at me. So
Greg's friend Nick owns a graphic shop and orchestrated this year's prank.
He got a new car and he was bragging about it and stuff a few months ago. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna mess with this car. We had like an hour window that we slapped it on there and got it done.
And Greg's phone has been blowing up since. Though the prank this year goes a little further than last year. The wrap has to be taken off professionally, so it's up to Nick to decide if and when it will come off.
Oh, I love it. It's good. It's all in good fun.
Hilarious.
Wow. That is next level pranking. That was WXMI's Aaron Parsegian reporting from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Happy birthday to Greg again.
These guys must make an annual budget for their pranks. I mean, this is some high dollar stuff. I know that he owns the half-shell graphics or whatever it was.
But that takes some time and planning as well.
Yes, it really does. Let's bring in Sarah Spivey now, talking more about these pop-up showers that have been popping up. That's what pop-up showers do, right?
Yeah, they've been popping up. But we really are lucky to see some of this rain because we'll take any little bit that we can get. Now, these showers are generally moving to the north and to the west, and they're very short-lived and they're very isolated. They're pop-up showers, exactly what Mark was saying there. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to turn off the loop there so that we can zoom in a little bit closer to where some of these showers are. Let's go ahead and take a look out toward Bandera County and near Medina and Bandera and Lake Hills itself. You can see these. There is no lightning with these. They are just pop-up downpours. Periods of heavy rain possible, especially for this one shower, which is in parts of northwestern Medina County there in a relatively low populated area, but you can see the high returns. And so just to the east of Medina Lake right now, some high returns out there as well, but these are not producing any kind of lightning. A little bit closer to San Antonio. Let's zoom in just to the east of La Crosse, right along Highway 90 there in the southwestern portion of Bexar County and near China Grove, seeing some good showers occurring right now. So China Grove, if you live in China Grove itself, you are going to be experiencing just a brief period here of these pop-up showers. Now, we are not expecting much in the way of widespread rain today. However, it is going to be interesting that if you do get a shower, you could see a quick, I think, 1/10 to 1/4 inch of rainfall later on in the afternoon as well. So we'll call it about a 10 to 20% chance for rain, especially if you live generally west of I-10 here and west of I-37. That's what we'll call about a 20% chance for showers. Those of us who live closer to the eastern portion of Bexar County, not going to see as much rain as our friends that live off to the west. And you can see that's the case here in the futurecast, generally west of Kerrville to Pleasanton. That's the best chance for some pop-up showers today. Maybe even a rumble of thunder in the afternoon, but still it's going to be isolated in nature. It's generally be hot today with a high temperature in the low 90s in most places, a bit of a heat index value as well because of the high humidity. And right now outside, you can see that high humidity in the form of haze on the horizon. Humidity is at 80% at the moment, and it's generally in the upper 70s and low 80s around San Antonio and around the KSAT 12 viewing area. This humidity is very high. It's at the top of the scale, so that's why these showers have been able to develop pretty much early this morning because the humidity is high and we've got just a little bit of weakening in that upper level ridge of high pressure. Southeast winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour, a high near 93. And in the evening with the loss of daytime heating, we will see those showers come to an end. So again, we've got this low pressure system that would usually be sending us a lot of energy our way, but that blocking high is making for only isolated rain instead of widespread rain. That's going to be the case in the week ahead as well. And into the weekend, that upper level ridge will weaken a little bit. And so we do have that potential for isolated showers and storms on Father's Day weekend. But hey, it's not looking too bad. You'll still be able to enjoy maybe a backyard barbecue with Dad on the weekend.
Not bad. Thank you, Sarah.
Time check right now, 9:48, 79 degrees.
And we'll be right back. And welcome back. It is 9:52. The rise in coronavirus cases causing some San Antonio bars to close down.
Plus, if you're planning on flying with United Airlines, you better wear a mask or risk being banned, at least temporarily. Here's today's 9 at 9.
Atlanta's mayor is now issuing reform orders for the city's police department.
Officers should use de-escalation techniques to gain voluntary compliance and avoid or minimize the use of physical force.
President Trump is expected to sign an executive order on police reform Tuesday.
Coronavirus infections rising in 21 states. 11 states are seeing an increase in hospitalizations, including Texas, which is setting records almost daily for COVID-19 patients admitted to hospitals.
The key message is that we may be tired of this virus, but this virus is not tired of us.
The Well on the north side, Brooks Pub on the southeast side. Just two of the nearly dozen San Antonio bars that announced on social media this weekend that they're shutting down again for a deep cleaning.
If these case numbers keep going up like this, I'm not hopeful that we're going to stay open for another week or two.
A small number of both the Dallas Cowboys and the Houston Texans, including star running back Ezekiel Elliott, have tested positive for the coronavirus. None of the players have been at the Star Complex, with one player reporting flu-like symptoms while others were asymptomatic.
United Airlines says it will start banning passengers who refuse to wear face masks. It will require flight attendants to ask passengers whose faces are not covered to use a mask. But if they still say no, their names could be put on an internal restriction list when they reach their destination.
The San Antonio Riverwalk is officially open again. Today, the San Antonio Riverwalk Association announced nearly all businesses on the Riverwalk are back up and running with new safety measures in place.
North Korea has confirmed it destroyed an inter-Korean liaison office earlier today. This as the country continues to dial up pressure against rival South Korea. The building was opened in September of 2018 to facilitate better communication between the two rival countries.
T-Mobile facing an FCC probe after a massive outage. Phone service and data were knocked out for tens of thousands of people Monday. Service was finally back to normal by early this morning.
To celebrate the 100th anniversary of the women's right to vote, First Lady Melania Trump is launching a children's art project.
The First Lady's initiative will solicit drawings from children between grades 3 and 12, depicting imagery related to the suffrage movement.
We have got some nice splash and dash showers generally to the west of San Antonio right now, allowing for some good rainfall for some folks west of San Antonio. There you go. You can see those right there. Looking good for areas generally west of 1604 down to Pleasanton. For the rest of the day today, we'll carry a chance for isolated showers and storms, about 20%, a high near 93, so it's still going to be a toasty day. And most of us, unfortunately, will miss out on the rain. But those of us who are getting some rain, send in your pictures to our KSAT Connect feature on our weather app. We'd love to show them on air.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Sarah. Father's Day Sunday, and we have to say, well done, Diego.
Who? Diego is a tortoise.
A giant Galapagos tortoise. Yeah, his tireless efforts are created with almost single-handedly saving his once-threatened species. He's been put out to pasture on his native island after decades of breeding in captivity.
So Diego was shipped out from the Galapagos National Park's breeding program on Santa Cruz to the remote and uninhabited Española.
They say his program, his contribution, park rangers believe him responsible for being the patriarch at least 40% of the 2,000 tortoise population.
Wow. Yes, see, very busy. Around 50 years ago, there were only 2 males and 12 females of Diego's species alive on Española.
That's 800 offspring.
He's a lot.
Crazy.
The math, right?
It's a lot.
He's a shell of a lover. That's what that thing said at the bottom.